Welcome to the Unfiltered Path podcast, where we explore life's journeys without the constraints of filters. In a world that is saturated with highlight reels, we dive deep into the true essence of individual experiences, offering our listeners an uncensored glimpse into the triumphs, the struggles, and transformative moments that define us. Our mission is to provide hope, inspire resilience, and remind you that every path, no matter how windy or rocky, can lead to growth and enlightenment. Join us as we navigate the uncharted territories of truth, to be moved, to be inspired, and discover that you are not alone on this unfiltered journey of life. Hello, everyone. It's Trinity Baker, mindset coach and motivational speaker, owner of the Trinity Baker LLC. You can find me on all your favorite social media platforms. I am a mindset coach helping people love the life that they live. Joined here with my co-host.
Hi everyone, my name is Danielle. I'm the owner of Aerial Jade. I'm an aerialist. That's a fancy term for performing suspended in the air. Essentially, I'm the bird of the circus. I'm also an educator, so I teach other people to do it as well. I recently became the host of Maine's first aerial arts competition, nationally recognized. So I'm really excited for this year ahead. And you can follow me on aerialjade.com and most platforms. And we are here with my co-host.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Graham Duval. I am the owner of Valued Productions. My company works to produce and implement video marketing strategies proven to make you more successful with your business, turning strangers into clients using video content. And I'm super excited to be joined with our guest today.
Alex Squatter. I am the owner of Blingle. We are an outdoor lighting design and installation company based out of Portland, Maine. Probably know us best from our work for the holidays with LL Bean, City of Portland, Town of Naples, and quite a few others. However, we are also well into permanent landscape lighting season right now.
I love that. I was
Yeah.
just conversation with my friend the other day about how we rise our vibration so many different ways, like music, our space around us and the people and the conversations we're having. And lighting is a lot of that vibe rising, right? Because I just got like this, I'd turn my screen around, but then everything would fall apart. I got this beautiful tree over here and it's like all lit up. And I've been adding a lot of like warm lighting to my spaces, and the vibe is just already, it's like it's so increasing, and it's so cool to I don't know, can't really measure that stuff, but you definitely feel the difference when you've got some really great lighting. In your work at LL Bean, for example, I mean, I've been there many times. It's freaking beautiful. It's a whole vibrator. It's a whole vibrator.
Yeah, and it's something that we can kind of do intentionally, as you said, like the warm white lighting. That is a lot of what we do, and it's great if you're trying to create either a warm or an elegant kind of a look. But there's a lot of other options, especially when you start delving into color and things like that. There's all sorts of studies on the actual psychology of it. But I like to keep things kind of simple in a lot of ways, and warm white is great, and then but like with a nice multicolored display like LO Bean, we can kind of focus on the fun, or for other people it is more, hey, we're trying to impress, we're trying to look really well put together and professional, and there we might go for a higher Kelvin temperature light rather than a warm. But yeah, no, the positivity of it, and the kind of intentionally choosing the atmosphere that you are going for and surrounding yourself with is a lot of what attracted me to this industry as a whole. So I'm glad you appreciate it, Trinity.
It's absolutely amazing. Alex, you should uh Alex and I have worked together quite a
A
bit,
lot.
and yeah,
Yeah.
and it's really cool to see like a house go from like nothing to having this, like, especially with the gemstone that you do, to
Yeah.
go to this like amazing thing. And
Yeah.
what I find fascinating is like your story, like how you kind of got into this. And I'd love for you to share that if you don't mind, just kind of like
Yeah.
where
No, I
that kind
I
of all
uh,
came
I
from.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, Graham. And as I said, the positivity was something that I personally definitely needed. I have probably a pretty unusual path towards entrepreneurship and the independence that I have now. I really started from probably the least independent and free and positive path that you can have. I was career military prior to starting this. I did 4 years at West Point and then 10 years as a U.S. Army infantry officer. I was a lieutenant and a platoon leader in Afghanistan, and then a company commander of about 150 people in Syria in 2019 to 20. And I was a very, very good and effective cog in a very, very big machine. And for a while, and for the first part of my life, I really kind of, chose to kind of trust others to make a lot of those decisions and kind of just do the best that I could in that system. And I think Afghanistan, I started to kind of see that was that like internally, I started to see that might not be the most fulfilling of paths. It was not a particularly useful war. I learned a lot from it, but it is not something that I think really like got a whole lot of good done. And then a few years later in Syria, I was much closer to I guess, the top of what was going on and could really see. And ultimately, I decided while I was there, while I was involved in the Turkish incursion, kind of had to step back and kind of like watch that, and I was not able to do the things that I wanted to do to actually help the situation. That I was going to never be in that position to not be able to help, not be able to do the right thing again. And so I made a vow that I was going to get out of the Army and never work for someone else again. I had no idea how to do that though. And I had never really seriously looked at another job, much less business ownership. And I had always planned on just doing my 20 years in the military and then kind of getting to retirement age. Honestly, probably no different than most corporate mindsets of, hey, I'm going to stash money away in my 401k and work for the man, and then I'm gonna be taken care of by whatever your timeline is. And very quickly realized in a single night that was not going to be what I'm going to do anymore. And I need to come up with a new plan. And started looking into financial independence and all that other sort of stuff, and did a bunch of math and realized that my net worth was almost exactly $0 when you added it all up. And so the traditional retirement path wasn't gonna kind of work out, and so I started looking into business ownership. And when I found the positivity of this industry of light, and I saw that I've read dozens of books, and I really started to realize, and it took me almost a year of researching to realize that like most business ownership is more about your ability to lead, your ability to have vision, rather than technical skills in the field. That can be developed, that can be learned, and I have. You just need to apply yourself to it. But the vision and the drive and the making thing, just kind of make it happen. That's what business ownership was about, and I realized that I could do that. So finally pulled the trigger. Moved to Maine, didn't know anyone. Moved into the room right behind me. You see that door that led to my bedroom for the first 3 to 4 months. Don't tell the landlord, but like in my warehouse, and then got this started. Started with a holiday season. Freeport Village Station was our first kind of big customer, and then got LOB in the second year, City of Portland in the third year, and here we are. And it's finally feeling like it's finally coming together, and that I've actually achieved that independence, and I am doing things that I feel are good and positive, and I am helping people. And it's it was a choice towards independence, I guess. But kind of windy, but I think that gives you a bit of a
That's deep.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you for your service, first off. For sure. Yeah, that's amazing.
The amount of awareness you must walk with and you can barely talk about.
That's a really good way to put it a lot.
Oh yeah,
Thank you. That's great. There's a lot of things I don't I don't know much about that. I think most people in America do, having spent most of my career up until doing this in a like I've never had a normal job. Um, but there's also a lot of things that, yeah, no, I am kind of, as you say, kind of aware of, and I've just got a different perspective, I think, than a lot of people from my background.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I love your mindset as you went into this too. I mean, you never had a normal job, so you really didn't have something to compare it to. So I think you know how scary this entrepreneurship thing is, but when you know that other side of it, it's even scarier. So you kind of had that like one up of like, I just did really scary shit for many years.
Yeah.
You did a lot of scary stuff that like I wouldn't. So what's entrepreneurship to that, right?
Well, you also have the self-discipline. I mean, if you can succeed in that type of environment, it's safe to say that you'll do well as an entrepreneur. So some entrepreneurs are full of like experience in art and maybe not so much structure, right? And they have to kind
Yeah.
of learn that along the way. I can relate a little bit. So, but I definitely see how you fit the unique mold of entrepreneurship. I love lighting. In terms of like what you chose to go with, because I feel like as I grow just in events, or lighting is kind of like that custom, like the topping on something, or that fancy
Yeah.
meal, or it's just that little bit of something
It
like,
takes something that's already good and then just brings it to another level. Uh, if it's not a
yeah.
good event, if it's not a good garden, if it's not a good home already, I'll be very honest with the customer. I'm like, we are not where you should be spending your money at, because if you light up something that's not good, it's not going to do you any favors. But once it's there, once you've got your event set, you're absolutely right. It just like it
It's
can it
that
can bring it
topping.
to
It's
that.
that
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
something that,
Hmm.
yeah. Because some of my favorite shows, so I've performed in a lot of really unique spaces, especially like in Florida, but Maine too. And one of my favorites was, it was one of my first aerial showcases, so I'm emotionally attached. But they had lighting and silks behind us, so our silhouette was constantly reflecting on the wall behind me. It was just
Yeah.
so incredibly impactful. It's some of the best photos that I've had of myself, but I was a new aerialist, so it's just like kind of cute photos, like, you know. Um, and then I was like, this year, I was like, God, I wish I had like a little spotlight, because we're in this giant gym and it's colorful and bright because it's the Boys and Girls Club. It's supposed to be like uplifting, but I kind of want the focus to like narrow in, and it was lighting.
Welcome to the Unfiltered Path podcast, where we explore life's journeys without the constraints of filters. In a world that's saturated with highlight reels, we dive deep into the true essence of individual experiences, offering our listeners an uncensored glimpse into the triumphs, the struggles, and transformative moments that define us. Our mission here is to provide you hope, inspire resilience, and remind you that every path, no matter how windy or rocky, can lead to growth and enlightenment. Join us as we navigate the uncharted territories of truth, to be moved, to be inspired, and to discover that you are not alone on this unfiltered journey of life. Good morning, everyone. Trinity Baker, mindset coach and motivational speaker, taking my clients from survival mode to thrival mode in all areas of their life. Joined here with my co-host.
Hi everyone, my name is Danielle. I'm the owner of Aerial Jade. I'm an aerialist. That's a fancy term for performing suspended in the air. I'm also an educator and organizer, so I teach other people to do it too. And we are here with our co-host.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Graham Duval. I am the owner of Valued Productions. My company produces and implements video marketing strategies to help you turn strangers into clients using content and social media and all that good digital stuff. I'm super excited to be joined with our guest today.
Hi, I'm Jamie Crane, owner of Energy Mend. I am a energy healer, and at Energy Mend, we are always trying to provide services to raise people's vibration and become more aware of their energy and how energy affects them.
Powerful
Yes.
stuff there. Powerful stuff.
I feel like that's what we all do, but like not technically.
Oh, 100%. You
Yeah.
guys are like so my group. like honestly,
Yeah.
my group.
Yeah,
That
definitely.
Right.
it's that healing thing.
Yeah.
Like that's why like a lot of my students are nurses or caregivers of some kind. It's just
Yeah.
a natural attraction.
Exactly.
And I get it.
And
And I, yeah.
just to all our listeners, quick testimonial. If you haven't gone to check out Energy Mend, you have to do it. Like,
Oh,
holy
thank
smokes,
you.
like
Thank you.
unbelievable.
And listen,
Unbelievable.
Energy Mend in Saco, Maine is really amazing, but Jamie also does virtual stuff. Like I am 3 hours.
Yes.
Jamie and I work together every single week.
Right.
And I believe that we need a lot of different like puzzle pieces to co-create this beautiful life that we are creating. And energy is just one of them, but it is a powerful tool. So you might be in the area of personal development. Maybe you're working with a coach or you're working with someone doing something. Energy is always something that you can add on because then that's like a whole next level. And it is incredible what's happened since I started working with Jamie. My knowledge of energy, yes, and then I help my clients and myself and all that. But it's like an attraction. It's a whole different attraction when you come from this high energy. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think so. The whole thing, my expertise, I guess, would be really removing a lot of that darker, lower vibrational energy that's in your aura, it's in your chakras. And what happens is that we are all magnets, right? And so when we remove other people's energy more than anything, honestly, that's when we can get sort of to that point where we're manifesting our reality, right? Because we're in tune with the universe. We are attracting, just like you said, we are attracting things. Because we are magnets of energy. And like what you guys do, so obviously I do alignment coaching with Trinity, I do my videos with Graham, and I haven't got to enjoy Danielle yet because that part of my journey, I think I'm just getting on. So stay tuned, Danielle. But that it's all things that you know, we are manifesting our reality. Graham's manifesting my persona and my message. And Trinity is helping me keep my mindset so that even when the darker energies come in and they're not clearing all the way, they are ending up, my mind can sort of overcome some of this energetic thing. So I just feel like if I was exercising like I'm supposed to, that would be another step that would just make it so that you would end up being able to fight a lot of these energies that are out there that people just don't recognize. They don't realize how much other people's energy physically affects them and makes it so they can't manifest their reality as well as they want to.
Oh man, that I completely agree. And it just made me think of so I was on a coaching call the other day and we were talking about how, people always say, when you're trying to like be your best self and everything, and it's always like mind, body, spirit, mind, body, spirit.
Right.
And the thing is your mind, it works in a way that like it just looks for problems and like looks for ways to fix them, and like that's the thing that's creating that reality. And then your body is like what Danielle says is the actual avatar, but
Right.
then the soul, that's the thing, that's the oneness that we were talking about earlier. And so when we say mind, body, soul, it's actually, we should be switching it to say soul, mind, body, because that's the way that it actually is being done. Because like when your soul is that oneness and like everything is connected and that energy is there, that then is allowing the mind to do its thing, which then goes to the physical thing, which is the body.
Right.
And so I just had that realization the other day. I was like, oh, it really is like soul, mind, body versus mind, body, soul. And it kind of it's what you just said kind of made me think of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's like something I even teach in terms of like when I'm talking about athleticism. We're always functioning 2 out of 3, or like, or when you, it was like it was an example in business school, and they used a mechanic, and they were like, you're always going to get 2 out of 3 things. And if you look at life like that, and then you're working towards the third to be even with the other two, and it's pretty much going to be shifting or evolving constantly. And it was based off of the concept that you can have like quality time and something else, and you can only have 2 of the 3.
I
It was
love
a
that.
beautiful example. And it really applies with athleticism. Like, right when I finally get a new trick or something, I'm learning a new one, so then I have to work on my flexibility. And then, my endurance is kind of lacking, or right now I'm on the thick side of myself. Let me be clear. I cannot button some of my summer pants. And it's okay. And it's okay because I'm functioning the 2 of the 3, and I'm aware, right? So I think that applies. But honestly, in my opinion, I don't know, like, it's just my thought. I think it's more like mind, body, gut working for the soul. And the soul is more or less that connection piece to every other human. Or we could even argue the spirit is, and then the soul is the oneness just above it. You know what I mean? But because people say heart, and so I get it, but I think that's what misleads people. And it's really the gut, because the gut controls your emotions. And so, just a thought. That's what I think it is. I know body kind of, but I see body as emotion. I see gut as like actual body health. I see mind as decision making. I see the spirit as the, what we're collectively figuring out, and the soul as like the oneness that harbors the spirit.
I love that. I love that, because the gut is your lower chakras. So those are your earthly chakras that actually connect you to this earth plane, right? So we have our upper chakras that connect us up spiritually to the soul. We have the lower chakras and that connect us down to the earth. And those lower chakras, your gut, have to do with your confidence, your joy, your passion, your creativity, your safety. So those are like, you're right.
Grounding.
Those are like a whole nother ball game, right? So I love that. I think that's really cool. Definitely.
My perspective on how I use or would use soul, mind, body. And I love that order, because here's what I do. Graham and I are always talking about this, is like, creating that clarity in my business with what I do. But kind of a little breakthrough here. Here's what I teach. And my Aligned Entrepreneur program starts today. So it's at perfect time where I'm going into the details of this program. Worked with entrepreneurs for years, and I've been doing this successfully for years now, but now I'm putting into a program. And here's my approach. The first 2 weeks of this 12-week transformative program is really understanding why you're doing what you're doing. And I'm not talking about that surface level why of like, well, I want to be abundant financially and I want to do something that I like. That's all great, fine and dandy. But we have to go deep, deep, deep to why Jamie is called here to help people clear her energy. Why Graham is called to help people spread the message and build their brand. Why Danielle is called to teach people that they are athletes at 50-something years old or 18 years old. Why I'm here to teach people how to harness the power of their mindset. Your soul is your purpose, the soul contracts you have, the reason that you're on earth, right? So it goes away. And then we use these 2 things, which is your mind and your body. And to me, mindset shifts. That's harnessing the power of your mindset. That's changing your perspective. That's changing your focus. That's using mindset tools to overcome anxiety, depression, all those emotions and those thoughts are currently could be suffocating you or bringing you away from your soul, right? Because if you look at the Aligned Entrepreneur program, what I'm teaching entrepreneurs and business owners at first is their foundation. Why? And then we look at the mind, and we've got to identify, like, where are those limiting beliefs that are going to hold you back from achieving what you're here for? And then we look at the body, and the body is the actions, right? So you can't take action in your business. I can tell Jamie, go reach out to 20 past clients today and connect with them to see if they want to come back for a healing session. But if Jamie doesn't identify the limiting belief that's going to hold her back from taking that action, and then identify why she's doing it in the first place, she's never going to take the actual action, right?
Which is Trinity's problem with me most of the time.
Why Jamie is enrolled in the Mind Entrepreneur Program, right? But because it is mastering that, and it's going back and forth, which, by the way, we got on this call and we started recording before the podcast actually recorded. And Danielle, you were sharing some information on like how these kind of your license number connects to your children's birthday, connects to someone who's significant in your life, and how these synchronicities. It's universal. So here is my synchronicity. Is my name is Trinity. That means 3. And I find myself always working in 3s. And so the mind, body, soul, mind, body, whatever it is 3. I don't care what way you put it. And they're always feeding off each other. Your soul will never be fulfilled, and you will never reach that highest potential of yourself if your mind is not at a place where you can do that. If you're if you can't do it, or you have these limiting beliefs, or all of those things, and your body, Danielle, you'll never get someone up on an aerial silk if their mind is telling them they can't do it.
Oh my God. Even when I get them in the aerial silk and they like learn a new skill, some people can't spin backwards. So I mean, the silliest, cutest little things. And it's just like, I feel so grateful that I get to witness people overcome. First of all, it's one of my favorite things to see with my own eyes, is seeing people overcome those things. But then it's absolutely fascinating. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like where those fear levels are and what they are. And it's starting to get very specific for me to identify. So there's like patterns, and I'm
always very
fascinated. Always patterns. Yeah.
Yes, very, very fascinating. Some people, so this is the one that's like very obvious. I donate my time to the art walks. So anybody, and those are more adults, that's why I'm saying this, anyone can come try my rig. Do you know people's brain has told them that they can't even physically sit on a hoop? Oh, no, I can't possibly sit on that. Yeah. Well, yeah, you can. It's like a chair. You sat on a chair earlier, right? Like,
yeah.
Like technically, yes, you can. Let's dumb this down real low. But like oh my God, but I would never speak like that to someone. But in reality, that's what their brain's telling them. And I really have to nurture people. Sometimes I have to guide their hand to even touch the metal. I have to, like, it's insane to see. And it's like devastating because it's all adults. People that are running our communities, households, like we don't deserve to have that level of fear because we're grown. When I get picked up,
right?
That you can't sit on a hoop. It's like, you know what I mean? Like it's crazy.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Okay. So you say it's devastating, right? Because we can see people's potential. It's what makes us leaders here. We can see people's potential, right? So it is devastating. But what's cool is that every single one of us is this door to shift that for someone. And so we replicate it, right? So someone may come to me for my entrepreneur program. What I teach them in the entrepreneur program for their business is going to shift the things in their personal life. Vice versa, I work with someone personal, not even touch their business, and it's going to shift their business. Graham, you're doing the same, but we're all doing the same thing here. We're just the door. And if I like
we have to nurture adults.
I like looking at person.
Welcome to the Unfiltered Path podcast, where we explore life's journey without the constraints of filters. In a world saturated with highlight reels, we dive deep into the true essence of individual experiences, offering listeners an uncensored glimpse into the triumphs, struggles, and transformative moments that define us. Our mission is to provide hope, inspire resilience, and remind you that every path, no matter how windy or rocky, can lead to growth and enlightenment. Join us as we navigate the uncharted territories of truth and to be moved, to be inspired, and discover that you're not alone on this unfiltered journey of life. Hello, everyone. My name is Danielle. I am a co-host here. I am an aerialist. That's a fancy term for performing suspended in the air. Essentially, I'm the bird of the circus. I'm also an educator, so I teach other people how to do it too. And I am here with my co-host.
What's up, everybody? My name is Graham Duval. I am the owner of Valued Productions. My company works to produce and implement video marketing strategies proven to make you more successful with your business, turning strangers into clients. I am a co-host here on the Unfiltered Path podcast, joined today with my other co-hosts.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Trinity Baker, mindset coach and motivational speaker. I help my clients go from survival mode to thrival with the power of their mindset. Looking different for everyone. I'm one of your co-hosts here on the Unfiltered Path podcast. And we are joined here today with our amazing guest, Miss Kimmy. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, it's an honor to be here today. I am Kimberly Brown, owner of Kimberly Helene Health and Fitness, LLC, and I inspire women through virtual personal training, health and life coaching to build a better body, to lose weight, gain muscle, and finally feel good in the body that you have. And by doing so, you increase the quality of your life and you live a life you love.
Amen to that, sister. Amen to that, sister.
Yeah.
Kimmy, literally do what I do, but in the physical realm, which all uses your mindset because everything uses your mindset. And so you are such an inspiration to me because if there is one thing I am not an expert in, it is not physical health. So I love you. I love the connection to you that I have. I use your services personally, and you are freaking awesome and taking me to my next level of health. So thank you for all that you do.
Thank you. Thank you. It's an honor, like I said. And I love what I do.
Yeah, it shows. You can feel your passion. You feel your passion. We are talking about that passion and how it kind of drives us right before the podcast started recording. Tell us a little bit about your passion for this and why are you driven every day, not only for your own health and your own fitness, but to also help others achieve that next level for themselves.
Yeah. Gosh, well, I'm driven every day. Honestly, I'm going to start off with a story. When I was very young, my dad, he was not very active. Um, didn't really watch what he ate, and he was diagnosed at a pretty young age with a very serious cancer. And I observed this as a young child. And for my dad, instead of looking at the cancer saying this is a death sentence, because he had lost both his parents to cancer, right? He said, I am going to fight this, and this is how I'm going to fight this cancer. He says, I'm going to get strong. I'm going to go ahead and do the treatments, but I'm going to get strong in my body as I go through the chemo. And I watched my dad totally transform his body in his 40s to a higher level of health. He started walking, he started lifting weights when he could. He worked with a nutritionist, and at a young age, 6 months later, his cancer was in remission. I walked into the kitchen. I did not know this, but my father was crying at the kitchen table. And I, as a little girl, I'm thinking, well, first of all, I'd never seen my dad cry. And I'm thinking, this is not good. And I said, Daddy, are you all right? And he said, yeah. With tears going down his face, he goes, I'm more than all right. He goes, I'm cancer free and I'm going to live. And from that day forward, I remember looking, we had a mirror in our living room. And I remember walking into the living room, looking at myself in the mirror. And I said to myself, I'm going to be strong, just like my dad. And I started at 10 years old figure skating, and that was the beginning of my journey. So why do I do what I do today? Because literally health and fitness, on one hand, saved my father's life, right? Treatment also helped, but it was the health and fitness that gave my father longevity. And we have to take care of this body that we have. We are only given one body. And it's how we choose to treat this body is how we will walk forward in life, right? And have the energy that we want to have and make positive decisions because, it's a no-brainer. The better we feel, the better decisions we make, the better perception we have of our reality. And the better we are able to deal with life's roadblocks when they come our way. And I saw that with my father. He had two choices. He could have said, I'm going to give up. I'm just going to do treatment. There's nothing else I can do. This is out of my hands. or he made a conscious decision to say, I'm not going to give up, and I'm going to survive this by taking care of this body. And that's really where it started for me.
Such a beautiful story. Oh my goodness. I
Yeah,
have goosebumps. I have
that's
goosebumps.
amazing. Amazing. Yeah, I totally relate with the your body and like how you feel and like making decisions and like I was listening to a book this morning actually and it said a fact that I know that
Oh,
and then your brain produces and so yeah it like you actually physically feel better uh and healthier.
yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, your brain is actually functioning, right? So you
Yes, yes.
like we can it's a full circle approach when we're heading towards the goals that we're heading towards at the levels that we are, right? And so you can't do just your mindset or just your professional growth. You can't do it's a full circle approach. And so you add your health and you add your what you're putting in your body, how you're moving it. Like when you combine all that full circle stuff, that's when you become unstoppable.
That is exactly right. It's when you start to stand in your own power
Mm,
and be able to live to full capacity. And, that's another reason we talked about this a little earlier. Let's talk about capacity, right? Everybody, like, I feel like society minimizes the capacity that we are actually able to function at, right? So when your people are feeling down or depressed or I have to protect my peace, well, if you have to protect your peace, you didn't have it in the first place. Let's really look at that. And by working out and taking care of your health, you are rewiring your brain so that you can function at a higher capacity. So that when you hit the difficult times, you have the rewiring to be able to manage those difficult times and still continue to go forward. For example, you could have a sick parent, you could have a child that's struggling in school, you could have a financial issue that has just really brought you down. But when you function at a higher capacity, those things are not going to bring you down. You're going to be able to look at those things and say, I'm going to get through this. And not only am I going to get through this, I'm going to get through this feeling great and still be able to go to work and still be able to go to the gym and still be able to walk the dog, and not go into that space of I feel tired or I don't feel well, or anxiety. Anxiety gets so many people, especially now in this day and age. But by taking care of our body and our mind, we're able to just function at that higher level of energy.
so true.
Oh man, I'm taking that quote that you said. If you have to protect your peace, let's be real. You didn't have it in the first place.
Nope.
Oh my God, that's so awesome.
And
Yep.
I think we have to make decisions that are in alignment with who we are now versus who we were. And I think
Yeah.
sometimes that can appear like you're protecting your peace, but in reality, you're just kind of rearranging your environment. I love your story. I have a very similar story. It's a powerful why. Um, I took care of my family when they were going through chemo when I was in high school, and they passed away, and then my mom survived. So in that, the one major shift was the perception of body and the mindset, um, that I believe truly helped. And then in some research from grief, you find the truth, right? So then you find the truth about food and these things that we can control and that are taking over our mind and making us, even on a spiritual level, it's like you got to work out to tell your meat suit that you run the show, or your meat suit will run the show.
Yeah. No, that's so true. I love what you just said too,
Yeah.
Danielle. We learn through the grief and that is so true.
So true.
Oh,
Love that.
grief gives the obsessive research that people need to level up
Yeah.
alchemizing. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be sadness, but usually our story is rooted in our why is somewhere sad originally.
You level
And
up through the grief.
Yeah.
mhm,
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it.
it's true.
You know, we talk about a lot of like these phrases that we say here. I feel like it's been like what 8 minutes that we've been recording. I think that was in here. But you level up through the grief. That's what it's for, right? But so here, like with the people I work with, and we know that like roughly only 96, only 4% of society thinks the way that we just said. You level up through the grief. They actually let grief take them down. And I think grief is much more than when someone dies. I think grief is the feelings that we have when we have significant change in our life, or we have to let go of a certain part of us or a certain person or a certain thing that was like sort of that identifying it was our identity really in a way. And so like we have actually opportunities to level up through that grief every day. Grief is
All
much
the time.
than just
Yeah.
lose someone. But I did the same thing, and I guess I never really looked at it like that until now. But when my mom died at 45 years old of alcohol addiction, is like I level up through that freaking grief. It took me a long time. It took me 7 years
Yeah.
to level up through that grief.
Yeah.
But that's when I then decided to become sober because I'm like, that was like that last missing puzzle piece for that grief and that closure of like making that final really hard decision to stay sober when we live in a society that normalizes one thing, and that is to cope with alcohol. So I love that. And that's how we become generational shifters, right? So like Kimmy and Graham and Danielle and I, like we're all here to help you become that generational shifter. I was just having this conversation with someone this morning is if we look at our purpose here in life is to help not only ourselves become generational shifters, but help the people we work with become generational shifters, we're making a significant shift in the universe every single day in the work that we do. Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy, but it's so true.
It's so
It is.
powerful. It makes
So
you badass,
powerful.
right?
It's
I
so
know that I'm
powerful.
not working for myself. Like there's a
Oh.
higher hand at it. And that
Yeah.
actually what keeps me going is because I know that it's so much bigger than me, you know, and
Yeah.
that there's this, a larger source at it, a greater impact. And yeah, I love knowing that about my work.
Yeah.
But I've also been there where you're hustling cell phones, and there's no real spiritual gain. But I worked in the cell phone industry for a while, and it really fueled a lot of my art passions in my 20s, right? Like I'm taking care of myself, but I'm still an artist. So navigating that, I really leaned on that line of work, but there's no higher hand at that. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I got me where I needed to be. So I think all is important, but it's really nice knowing that I'm in a position where I'm truly serving my experience and then humanity as a whole through not so great experiences.
I think it's so important that
I
yeah, go for it, Graham.
I was gonna say I love what you were saying, Danielle, about how you like there's the high your turn have it as the higher purpose and like basically um turn it over to your higher purpose or higher self or oneness, whatever you want to call is that higher level. I was on a coaching call yesterday and like we were talking about this exact concept where like, you turn everything over to that. Like, oh, my bank account is God's bank account. And so, or like this client, it's God's client. And like when you can do that and you turn, I'm just using the term God because it's easy to say, oneness,
Yeah.
universe, whatever your
Yeah.
higher level of thing is, you turn that over, and that's when you can step into that energy. That is where things really start to connect because it's like it really isn't us. It's that higher thing that is it's their bank account. Like, thank you, God. This